Hello, hello, everybody. I want to make sure you can hear me. Hello, hello. Let me turn this, tilt it down a little bit. Maybe not that much. You don't need to see into my lap. Hi, everybody. Happy Monday. I am in Florida, moving about. So this will be the way that it is. I'll be in pretty much a new location every time. So if you're here, type hello in the chat and let me know that you're here. And let me know how you are doing. And I'll give my introduction. So my name is Allison Holley, and I offer these channelings every single week here on my channel. I dive into what the collective is experiencing, and I dive into what one of you, oh, that was cool. There was like a bird that flew overhead. I dive into one of your questions. So if you're here live, you get to submit your questions, and I choose one to channel for before I go into the collective message. Hi, Kennedy. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and give hi, Radka. Hello, hello. You are fine. Good. Yeah, the bird's reflection. I was like, oh. I'm going to go ahead and give announcements. So the first announcement that I want to share with you all is that I have been flowing with the book tour. So the West Coast portion of the book tour, that's West Coast US. The West Coast portion of the book tour is going to be starting at the end of April. And hi, Stacy. Can't take this amount of change. Try living it. I feel like I don't sleep anymore. I'm like, ugh. Especially setting up all these events. So check out my website. The link is in the description box. It's AllisonHolley.com/events. And I will be visiting all over the US this year. So West Coast is going to be in the spring. East Coast is going to be in the fall. In between is True Creator Summer Camp, which I would love all of you to come to. So there's a lot of events. Check out my website and you can see, hi, Cherry. You can see on my website that I have a lot of events that say details to be announced. So everything is, I feel I'm spinning about 70 plates right now. But this week I've told my guides, all right, I need to start getting some sleep. So this week, let's finalize these events. So keep your eye posted or keep your eyes on the website. I will keep you all posted. And yeah, there's a lot going on. I haven't started posting any of the East Coast events because I kind of need to keep my focus in one direction right now. And yay, summer camp. I'm so excited for it, you guys. So that's announcement number 2. True Creator Summer Camp is an event that I am going to start doing annually. And we had it a couple years ago. Last year, I wasn't able to pull it off, but it's happening again this year. I am very excited about it. It is going to be in Arkansas. I'm in Florida now. I almost said it's going to be here in Arkansas. And I'm like, I'm not here. I'm not there. So it's going to be in Arkansas. It's so beautiful. It's August 1st through 4th. And we will be doing all sorts of things. There's going to be a lot of channeling. So practicing, learning how to channel, practicing channeling together. There's going to be speakers. I'm going to be bringing back several of the teachers that were at the first summer camp, still working out all of the details. There will be star family contact. We're going to very specifically dive into contacting our star family. So it's going to be really powerful. Plus, it's just going to be fun and silly, which is so much the point of so many things. So yes, I wish you could come, Radka. If you make it out to the US, please come. So sign up for that. We are in early bird, so you still get a discount. And I need to do that this week. I'm just like, oh, I've got so many things, but I'm adding a friend discount. So if you sign up with a friend, you both get $100 off of your registration. And I'm going to set all of that up on the website. But for now, if you sign up with your friend, just send me an email and let me know, hey, this is what we're doing. And I'll get you the proper links and everything like that. What else? So those are my announcements right now. If you would like to learn how to channel, I recommend joining the Learn to Channel course. And I have a community where we practice channeling together every other week. So join that as well. And yeah, there's a lot. All right, just need to manifest some resources. Have you been playing? I was going to share this week, I'm going to share an excerpt from, it's very hard to pronounce all of the consonants, consonants in that word, excerpt. Why am I making this harder on myself? Yeah, so I was going to post that from the private community about playing as a starseed, really learning to play with money, because that creates so many limitations. Being a starseed, we have this perception of so many things here on Earth, like, well, it's not real. Well, it's kind of real while we're playing here, so we need to learn how to play with it. And I'm going to post that later this week from your question. Yeah, but the time changes all the time. Yeah, the time changes. I realized today, I was like, sleep has been an issue the past, I don't know, 5 days. And I realized that with the time change, I drove overnight here to Florida, which was wild. I'm like, every time I do that length of drive, I'm like, I'm not going to do that again. And then my mom was like, you'll do it again. Because she knows, I don't know, I'm a goldfish. I just forget what I said yesterday, right? So I did the drive overnight, got here, had a great night's sleep when I got here. And then since then, it's really been odd, because it was right after the time change here in the US. And then I also went forward an hour. So it was forward 2 hours. I'm about to go back 2 hours when I go to Guatemala on Wednesday. So it's like, I'm really learning how to stabilize my energy in so many situations. It's fascinating to witness. Really, really powerful for my personal journey. So, let's get centered here. If you have a question, go ahead and type it in the chat. Now, this is a question that you would like me to channel on. So it can be a personal question. It can be something that you specifically are experiencing right now. And type that into the chat. And what I'm going to do is choose one of them. Oh, type Q at the beginning of it so that I know that it is a question that is separate from the chat. Type Q at the beginning of it, type your question in, and then I am going to choose one with random number generator. I'm going to choose one of those to channel about before I offer the collective channeling. So that's part of what I do here every week. What am I doing in Guatemala? So Guatemala for me is a personal pilgrimage. You know, it's very sacred, which is why I'm not necessarily sharing a lot of details. I feel like my life is pretty open. So Guatemala for me, I've been being called there for almost 2 years. It popped up as a sacred place that my friend and I connected when I was not in a human body. So before I became a human, right? It was a sacred spot, and we were going to go there together and kind of celebrate that, but that didn't work out. It looks as if this is something on my own personal journey to reconnect with and to center in. There's a very specific spot. I didn't even know this is like a spiritual location for a lot of people. It's called Lake Atitlan. So there's a lot of cities around this one lake. There are many volcanoes. It's in the Ring of Fire. Guatemala is, which the Ring of Fire is essentially like a circle of volcanic activity and volcanoes. So I'll be going there. I will actually be hiking a volcano for the eclipse, during the eclipse, which is on April 8th. And I did not know, when my guides told me when to go, I didn't know that that's all what was happening. I'm going through some light body activations right now, which are pretty powerful. And that's why in my private community, this was one announcement that I didn't make yet, but I have a private community. It's called the True Creator Community. And once a month, I go live and offer a channeling where you get to ask questions. So it's interactive. Instead of it being like this, it is a Zoom video call, and I receive your questions. The topic for April is light body activations. And I chose that because, it's 1:11 my time. I chose that because it's very present right now. I'm also going to be relaunching Limitless Creator, so I'll talk more about that next week when I relaunch it. But the timing right now, we are really in a potent time, and I'm sure the correct wording will come through when I'm channeling, but it is so potent right now, and I'm witnessing it from an entirely new perspective that I haven't really held in my human form before. And that is, I'm witnessing the way that we are as humans, the human experience, the human drama, which everything is drama. I'm witnessing it very differently. My body feels very light. There's just a lot. There's a lot shifting. So we're going to be diving into that in the True Creator community. For the month of April, for the channeling. I had a dream 2 nights ago that something shifted and we were all able to see light cords coming from each person. Absolutely, Kennedy. It's just, I don't know how to describe it. And again, we will see what the wording that comes through in this next little bit here. All right, so I see one question. If you have a question, please type it into the chat. I'm going to go ahead and yeah. All right. Yeah, these activations are very strong. Whatever you're experiencing, I'm noticing that everyone's experiencing this a little bit differently. Some are very unconscious of it, of the upgrades and experiences as it is, right? We're not all conscious of what's going on all the time. I need to like pull my hair back. But, you know, some people are simply experiencing a lot of emotional fluctuations and re-engaging in old programming with those emotional fluctuations, which of course, this is just the human experience. We experience those re-looping patterns until we kick ourselves out of it. We jump off the hamster wheel and decide to experience something new. So there's a lot shifting. And then, you know, if we are playing with more consciousness, if we're allowing ourselves to be more conscious, there are really powerful awakenings happening, and awakening continues and continues, right? So we just wake up to new layers of the truth of who we are. And that's what I'm experiencing. And that's what many of you are experiencing as well. If you are in the place where you're simply noticing a lot of emotional re-looping patterns or anger, confusion, frustration, pause is what I would recommend. Pause and witness, be the witness. Stepping into being the witness is very powerful for us at this time. Always it's powerful, but right now with the energies, we can shift. And so stepping into being the witness, what we'll experience when we do that is instantly moving into presence and moving into awareness of the patterns that we've been playing with and allowing ourselves to choose. Because we can only truly choose, a lot of times we're choosing by default. And that's when we're going into those relooping patterns of our drama cycles and our programming. So when we are present, that's when we're highly conscious and we're able to actually choose. And when we're actually choosing, we're choosing from the present moment. We're not choosing from the programs. And we can then, there's a rapid expansion that's available to us in those moments. So, all right. I see 2 questions. Hello, Kelly. Welcome, welcome. It's nice seeing some new names in here. If there are only 2 questions, go ahead and I'll just give 1 more minute for typing into the chat. And again, if you have a question, type Q at the beginning of it. I'm going to go ahead and choose with random number generator here in a couple minutes. So 3 questions. Okay. Can you all hear the wind? It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. The trees here, there's 2 trees right behind. I'm at my parents' house and there's 2 trees. And I love listening to trees. I love communing with trees. So I get to look at these beautiful trees while I'm on this call. So I'm really glad about that. I love that. I'm glad you can hear it. And I hope you can still hear me. I actually have to get a new, an adapter. I got a new laptop, very long overdue. I've had that laptop for probably I don't know, 8 years and maybe longer. And so I got a new laptop and I need an adapter for my mic. So I want to make sure that the sound is okay, but next week the sound will be better. All right, you're driving, Cherry. Very cool. Yours is 12 years old. And I think it's good to keep using what we've got, right? The capacity of my last laptop was really starting to be pretty limited with everything that I need to create now. I'm in New York City and a feather landed in front of me while I was walking. Didn't pick it up though. It's in the city. It is the city. You pick it up, lick the end, and put it in your hat. The licking the end part is really what you got to do, Stacy. Oh, I love you guys. Yeah. All right. Well, that's 3 questions. I'm going to leave it at that. And I'm going to go ahead and do random number generator here for 3 questions. And it's question number 1. Question number 1. I have been feeling some shifts, upgrades. What do you see next for me in the upgrades? Okay, beautiful. This will be fun to dive into. As I was saying, there's a lot. There's a lot. Oh, yeah. In Prague. Let's all go to Prague and visit Radka. How many can you host at your house, Radka? I'm good with the sleeping bag on the floor. And I'm good with cuddling. So we'll just have like 8 spoons in a row. All right, my loves. I'm going to go ahead and go in. So those of you who've been here, you know the drill. Those of you who haven't, let me share with you. I'm going to close my eyes. It allows me to tune into these energies a little more clearly. And I'm going to listen and receive a message and deliver it to you all. And I'm going to first dive into that question. The question is, I have been feeling some shifts and upgrades. What do you see next for me in the upgrades? I'll go into that question, and then I'll go into the collective channeling after. So stay tuned through the whole thing. What's really beautiful is that the individual question always goes into the collective question so smoothly, so clearly. And so we'll just witness what happens. Oh, and you're welcome to continue to type in the chat. I love reading it. And I love when you all connect with each other in the chat, building this community, connecting, being present with each other. Heart. Heart connection, heart. Being in the heart, being present in the heart, moving from the heart, trusting the heart. All of these things are what's coming in for you. Part of the learning to trust ourselves is moving into the heart. It is moving out of being operated from the mind purely and moving into the heart and really allowing the honesty, the fullness, the wisdom of all of our energy being together to inform our movements through life. I hope you all can't hear. There's like yard work going on over there. I hope it's not too loud. But being heart-centered is really being in the control center of our being. Oh, the trees are like, here, we'll cover that sound. The wind. I love it. Thank you, beautiful trees. Oh my God. I'm just dancing with all of everything that exists. This is a really interesting, when we move out of the denser layers of reality, we witness that everything speaks. Everything speaks. Because we come into oneness consciousness. And so, the trees are our friends and everything becomes a conscious conversation or a dance. It's so beautiful. Thank you, trees. I'm also seeing a lot of knowing coming in for you. A lot of knowing where perhaps once there was questioning and now there is unquestioning knowing. And the knowing comes from a place that's beyond purely the ego. We have a tendency to question ourselves, to not trust ourselves, to feel like there's always a problem, always a question, etc., when we're living from the ego mind, because that's the game of that layer of reality. So when we have allowed ourselves to shift into presence, we trust ourselves from a place, there's a confidence from a place that does not involve the ego, does not involve the self-protective mechanisms that we've been trained into, that we have continued within ourselves. So that confidence is almost, it's very pure. There's the feeling of, it just is. It just is. And it's funny. I laugh because the struggle for finding words, it's almost as if I could repeat the same thing over and over again or say nothing. It just is. It's pure presence. It's love. These are all just different ways of describing this energy, which is presence, which is oneness, right? Again, going into the words. And what it feels like in our human experience is heart-centeredness. It is being led by the heart. It's worth saying that this does not mean being led emotionally. In our current collective, we interpret the mind as logic and the heart as emotion. Move those off the table. Those are no longer the definitions. The heart is the essence of pure self. It is the streaming through center of our consciousness from, it is us in alignment with our higher self. It is our higher self streaming through. And the mind is it becomes the witness, and it becomes the builder. It becomes the paradigm creator. We sometimes need structure, what we call walls, what we call framework. We sometimes need that. In fact, in this physical reality, it's what we crave. It's what we desire. It's what we want. And it's why we build them. It is because the essence of the fullness of who we are is streaming a fractal spiral of itself into denser layers of reality where we perceive differently. And so in order to move through the unfolding, the unfurling of time, we create structures, systems, paradigms. So for you specifically, I'm seeing moving into the heart, which is presence, which is an essence. It is a beingness. And also a knowing within the, we could call it the mental consciousness centers, where there's a knowing of things, self. It's just a beingness again, but it's in the mental centers. I'm also seeing grief. And this feels like for you, the person who asked this question, and also it feels like for all who are going through these shifts, there's a shedding, a literal shedding of the emotions through the body. And it looks like a sadness comes through. I'm laughing at these trees. They're just really showing up in service. It's so interesting. They're creating a sound barrier. I mean, it's really wild. And I'm so grateful. What a beautiful world we exist in. So allowing ourselves to grieve. When we grieve, what is that? That is a sometimes deeply physical experience of releasing attachment to a perception. So when we are grieving, especially when it comes from the present moment, when we're in presence, sometimes we experience grief. It is a clearing out of the residual structures of attachment that we have had within ourselves. Sometimes it is human nature when we grieve to try and understand why the tears are coming, or when we experience any emotion, we may want to know why did that happen? And trying to understand often will reloop us in that process. We create another story to attach to from the process. So be the witness. And as these emotions come out, whatever the emotion is, when it's coming out from that place of pure presence, it's simply clearing residual attachments to old paradigms that we have held that are now able to dissipate and to calm, and the walls come down so that we can expand, so that we can be more of the fullness of who we are without being stuck in these patterns, these holding patterns of repeating stories, repeating processes. I'm going to go into the collective now. In fact, it feels like this has very much been for the collective. Thank you for that question. I feel that there's a lot to dive into for the collective. So I'm anticipating that this might be a lot of information. We'll see. But I can feel there's a lot. There's a lot of grieving. There's a lot of attachment to old systems coming up. And this is what's causing fighting. If you are engaging in any sort of fighting, contention, anger exchange, this is attachment. This is attachment to the way that things were. How do we move out of it? Come into presence. Come into presence. Witness that the old story is no longer necessary. The old story serves in holding the walls of whatever structure of house that we've been confining ourselves in. Whatever our paradigm is the walls of the house that essentially can either be comfort or a prison. It can provide us with a barrier to the swirling energies, and that is predominantly what we've used these paradigms for. We needed them because we're in such a dense experience that having boundaries to all that we witnessed was part of the game. Now we're witnessing and now we're experiencing that those walls have become a prison instead of a place of comfort, which causes an internal angst, an internal dissolving, which then we can often create contention with those around us because there's a feeling of unsafety, of change internally, of shifting. And we want to sometimes, there's a comfort. Again, the comfort sort of can become a prison, but there's a comfort in repeating processes. Again, sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes it's actually helpful and of service to the human self. Other times it is not. Other times we need to gently let this go, let these paradigms go. And it is through presence that we witness this paradigm is serving us and this one's not. Now, what I was shown is when I said this paradigm is serving us, I'm hearing none of them truly serve you, and none of them are necessary. When we live in presence, we don't need to build walls or paradigms at all. We can simply navigate through what is, and all that is needed for that present moment, and the energy that is flowing through us will exist. So we don't need to actively create boundaries, barriers, or paradigms or prisons any longer. We are coming into immense freedom, it can feel like we're disseminating. I have a friend, and I have felt this. I actually have several friends who describe this as feeling as if they're pixelating, combusting, becoming, dissipating into the all. Thank you, trees. This is a common feeling as we begin to witness that the physical is simply a perception. It's simply a dense perception. More dragon energies coming through. Let's really look at these dragons. Hello, beautiful friends. Timekeepers. Witnessing of the ages. So they come in very strong when we're having a strong shift of era. It's sort of like a slinky. When there is a shift between frequencies, and I'm seeing a polarity shift on the planet, which is symbolic, and symbolic becomes physical. So witness to that. We are having such a strong shift, and it's effectively compressing what we call time, compressing the sacred spirals that we dance within, which are our patterns, our contracts with each other, our connections, and our larger life purpose can also be a spiral or a series of fractals, right? Multidimensional spirals. So the dragons are here with us, encircling us, guiding us energetically into this gold frequency. It's 12th dimensional consciousness. I don't know what that means. The white light of pure heaven. Gold frequency is the highest frequency that a human at this time can embody, carry. And now I'm seeing a lot of visions, and I'm going to attempt to explain what I'm seeing. I'm seeing the dragons moving the waters, moving the waters. I'm hearing once again Kali Yuga. And I'm hearing again, we are the timekeepers. So they're showing me these different spirals that we operate within. And how our frequency shifts as we spiral. Okay, several weeks ago, and I realized it's funny because I channeled this, and while I was channeling this, I was like, wow, I've never seen this before. And then I recalled that I have channeled this probably twice before in different ways. And it's just such a surprising experience. What we witness is a spiral, and then it's sort of like a whirlpool. It's a wide spiral, then it becomes narrow, then there's a pass through a portal, and the spiral inverts and becomes, for example, a black hole becomes the projection of light. Our chakras are the void on one side and the projection on the other. We receive and project. So this is the other end of those sacred spirals. We are spiraling, it then narrows, there's a portal, and when we're in that portal, it's 0 point, it is timelessness, and it is the area where we are truly creators, because we are in true presence with all all becomes accessible to us in those moments. The dragons are like, good. That's funny to me. Thank you. Good. I'm glad I'm getting it. Good. Okay, let me show you the next part. Let us show you the next part. So what we're going to witness with our human eyes is a lot of change. We've been hearing this from so many different angles. I'm here to bring it to you again. There's going to be a lot of change, a lot of upheaval in the political spheres. And the political sphere includes politics between our friendships. It's that layer of reality where we believe in governance because we still believe in systems of control because we don't trust. We have not moved into present moment in that layer of reality. It is going to be a lot of fighting. And those of us who are not engaged in that realm, who are able to be the witness and be present, it just won't even matter. It won't even matter. We're in March. So today is the 18th. Interesting. I don't know why I'm getting that number. It's flashing. And I'm hearing turning point. Or was it yesterday? I don't know. Turning point is what I'm hearing. Make this transition with ease and grace, knowing that all is well. You are simply building what you have come here to build, which is the ultimate freedom and liberation from the paradigms that you yourselves have created, to the point where we've created these paradigms so much that we don't feel that we are the creators of them. We don't even feel that we have any power within them. It's sort of like the Frankenstein analogy. Like, we've created, now it's like, oh, now it's got power over us. No. That's not how this works. But it's our illusion telling us that. Our internal paradigms that are illusions. There's going to be a lot of, it's physical level changes, so earth changes, but it doesn't look scary. And maybe it's just the perception that I'm in right now. The winds of change. Our attachments have served us, and now we're learning to let them go. We only struggle when we have attachments. There's no struggle when we are centered and present. Practice being centered, practice presence. A huge amount of creativity. A huge amount of creativity coming from all of this. Like, one of my favorite movies is Limitless, because I love the truth of it. And I'm seeing it's like that, where we're just boundless creators. We are just so boundless in it. We are inspired. We feel safe in our body. So there's no limitation to we're not blocking our own creations. Oh, it's so good. It's definitely that ecstatic energy starts moving through me. creation purely from the place of joy. There's so much that we limit within our own capacity to create because we think that we need to, if we're painting a picture, it needs to be for an art gallery, or if we're singing a song, it needs to be to work out our vocal cords or something. We always attach it to some sort of externalized purpose, but we're moving beyond that. We're doing it from the place of joy. And then it just opens this infinite stream of creation within us. So the dragons are bringing me back. Come back, come back. That's true, but we have a message for you. What is your message? Okay. It's a gateway. They're saying March 18th through April 15th. That's very specific. Ow. I'm getting a ringing that's really sharp. Through April 18th. The gateway is open. Choose. Choose. Choose your highest love. They hold the gateway open. I get it. Thank you. Okay. The dragons really, there's the swirling that I saw was them holding the gateway open. Why is this important? Because my perception is that these gateways, they don't really exist in time. And then they're reminding me, but you're in a time-based experience for now. So we open portals and we open gateways and hold them open for you because we are outside of time and you are existing in a time system. We don't call it time here, but we recognize that we're the timekeepers. It's simply a vibrational experience within this dimension. The way that it is perceived when your consciousness is in this dimension is what you call time. So this portal exists right now. It's very potent. It's very potent. Play with it. Play enters you into the portal. Move toward your play. Choose the highest love. Choose what you came here to bring and to offer. Wherever you are blocking yourselves, whether that's from self-consciousness, you're blocking your light from shining, or control or anger, or which again is a feeling, it's a perfectionism, or fear of the unknown, or fear of being hurt, or fear. All of these are, different fears. Witness those and remember what you came here to do. You can do it in the midst of all of these experiences. And as you do it, you will become more you, and it will be easier and easier, which is to say you will be more adept at it. It will become second nature or first nature. You will become adept at it. I'm so grateful to have brought this message through from the dragon energies. I'm seeing, this is one that I've never seen before. It's like a blackish purple dragon. Specific frequency. I'm not sure why I saw that. It's sort of dark feminine energy. What we call feminine. It again, it doesn't look like that. They don't say it that way. but it is the night. It is the inverse energy, which is to say nothing is actually scary. Nothing is actually what we would call bad. And witness the opening to all of it, to be adept players within your field of experience. Okay. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for this message. All right. How was that? Summer camp next year in Prague. Mm-mm. Hi, Jason. I was halfway there the other day. Anxiety and other negative emotions were coming up, and I realized in the moment, but it's really hard to stop it and move to another space. A little tip, things that I have learned, things that we talked about in Limitless Creator that I want to remind you all of. We are, when we're in one of those, maybe we're in high anxiety or in the midst of a lot of fear of whatever we want to call it, those unpreferred emotions, the denser emotions. We don't need to bring ourselves all the way to feeling good. We can bring ourselves to neutrality. Just go for neutrality. We don't need to try and jump all the way there. So anything that we can do to bring neutrality can be helpful. And I find that really helpful because when I'm in the midst of some sort of spiral that's just like, fear, whatever, I can use I can't get all the way to love, to divine love. I can really use that against myself, and then it perpetuates even stronger. So finding neutrality, just self-soothe, simply self-soothe. I'm going to be teaching a lot of that when I'm on tour. Self-soothing. This is coming through very strong as something to really help people understand. This is so cool. You talk about immense freedom, and my site has been attracted since some minutes of my oil colors and tubes. Oh, painting. Enjoy. Oh, so much fun. Play with that. Yes, I love the dragons too. They've really been present. I didn't ever really consider myself connected to that realm, and I'm hearing you are. I'm so glad it was good for you. This was so interesting. Very cool. I'm glad. Yeah, neutrality. It helps me a lot. We can really get caught up in a negative shame spiral. I saw just the other day, a huge part of my story is just shame, and to move out of shame. And then how, when I'm in unconscious shame, which I think is just such a huge part of the human condition. But when I'm in that, I'm unconscious of it. And then I'm creating the reciprocation of that in my world. And this past year has really been, I was telling my friend Kishelle this morning, it's like a masterclass in learning how to not feel ashamed about myself, because what's been happening is me feeling shame and causing conflict with others, or me feeling shame and then drawing in conflict from others out of just almost nowhere. It's a powerful practice to really be conscious of ourselves in all these different layers and to bring it into presence. I'm really glad that you were here, Kelly Black. Thank you. Thanks for attending. All right, my loves. Any of the things that I talked about with the events coming up, True Creator Summer Camp, my private community, the True Creator Community, they are in the description box. If you're curious about any of them, I definitely invite you to check that out. And I invite you to hang out with me somewhere along the journey, because I'll be in a lot of places, and I would love to hug all of you. So, all right, my loves, have a beautiful Monday, and I will see you the next time I see you. I'll be in another place. Bye.